Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. My name, of course, is Sisa or Chris, and today we are watching the Shadowbringers job actions. There's been a lot of people over the last 2 days that have been reaching out to me to say, hey, you have to watch this. This is so exciting, super hyped. And I've seen a lot of videos about it online already. So I was like, yes, I'll do it. And this is kind of out of my comfort zone. I generally don't record sort of videos with reactions or anything like that. So let's see how I do. I had to bust out OBS and hopefully everything works pretty well for that. In terms of the new players who might be watching this, hi, welcome, we're Tiny Blue Games. This is a casual gaming channel. I'm pretty new to Final Fantasy XIV. By pretty new, I mean I have a free trial account and I have a level 14 player. So if you're expecting deep insight about these job actions and jobs themselves, this is not really the video for you. If anything, I'm going to be having wild speculations about what jobs might actually do in this game and what jobs I might want to play. So just to really manage expectations there. But it is, I guess, fun to see how new players react to these kind of things. Specifically since we don't necessarily get something like this in a lot of MMOs. I mean, Guild Wars 2 kind of does a really good job of displaying the new elite specs for each expansion, but World of Warcraft, I don't think you get a video of all the new skills really. Like, it's more on actual people playing the PTR and stuff like that to go in and dig that up for them. So I think this is a really nice way to do it, but without further ado, let's get into the video. I should mention that I did watch this. I already recorded it and I lost the footage somehow. So you can see I'm rusty with OBS and doing this kind of recording. We'll see how we do. So let's get into it. Job actions. The first one is the Gunbreaker. And I am knowledgeable enough to believe that this is a new job coming to the game in the next expansion. If I am already completely wrong with that, I apologize. But yeah, we got the gun and sword combination, something that I've never played in a game myself. I know it is more of a Final Fantasy thing, though, to have a gun sword, but a very cool idea because it mixes in the close range combat with the ability to do some sort of long range spells as well. And from what I understand, this is a tank. I might be way off base with that, but I believe it's a tank, so very cool, very exciting. The Bard. This is the big one for me. I'm making an archer right now. Really excited to see the skills here. And I was not disappointed. Like, there's a lot of flashiness. I think is great. I definitely like the musical part of it. And really just seeing the different UI bar down there. Like, I don't think I have a UI bar at the moment. Look at this skill. That was just... I love the skills. They're super cool. But just having so many different skills to play with, I'm super excited to see... my character do that, especially with all the jumps and stuff. Like, it just feels so impactful, right? The animations are great. Speaking of which, we're getting into the Dragoon. This is a class or a job that comes from the... Actually, I'm just going to pause it while I talk for a second. I talk a little bit too slow compared to how fast it's going through this, so I'll try and pause it when I can. The Dragoon, I believe, comes from the... Well, I do know comes from the Lancer. And I don't know... Like, I know at level 30, you get to kind of move to a next job, right? Is it called a job advancement in this game? Is there something like to that degree? Like, is there a branch, or is it just like each one has like the Lancer turns into the Dragoon, the Archer turns into the Bard, or is it like branched where the Dragoon turns into, or the Lancer turns into the Dragoon / something else? Like, is that how it works in this game? Because from what I understood, there was not enough base classes for all of the roles that I'm seeing, all the jobs that I'm seeing. So I would assume that either it does branch like I'm thinking, or there's some jobs that are expansion specific and sort of start at the higher level. So in the comments below, if you could let me know which of those cases it is, or if I have made no sense of my question, let me know that as well. But yeah, let's get back to it. Dragoon, super cool. Like, I was already sold to have a class that uses a spear primarily, but the animations, the jumping, the blue, oh, it is hot. And from what I've heard in the comments, a lot of their jumps have been made a lot quicker in this sort of iteration, which probably will help with people sort of jumping off of things, because I've heard that there's been some issues where people jump at the wrong time, right? Which you're going to get with any kind of mobility that locks you in a bit. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, but really cool stuff. And this one right here, like I would play the entire class, entire role, entire job, whatever you want to call it, for that skill. Black Mage. I've heard a lot about Black Mage being sort of both interesting but complex. I know that they are about explosions. I know that they have some skills that are absolutely not worth using at certain times, and that's kind of a hard part for beginners on this class, is that you have to know what skills or job actions you want to use at a specific time. The explosions are super cool, and what really catches my eye actually is the UI once again, the sort of clock ticking down. I'm sure that this is already a part of the Black Mage, and people who have like been waiting for these new job actions are like, that's like the least exciting part of this entire thing. But I'm, as someone who's always interested in learning, wow, look at those fires. I'm always interested in learning how different classes sort of do their skills. So the UI is very interesting for me. Now, the Astrologer, this is a very cool class. I think this is a support. I'm saying that because I'm seeing it like attack or use skills on NPCs rather than targets. And the fact that it chooses cards out of a deck like this, I had no idea that this job was a part of this game. And I am super excited to try this out. I think out of this entire video, it's one of the jobs that has drawn me in the most, because I've always been very into the idea of someone who has like a deck of cards that they choose from. And I wouldn't, like, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if this is someone I chose to make, like with the stars and stuff too. Like, it's just such a thematically beautiful class, which I really do enjoy. And I am looking to try a support class after I've gotten the Bard up a bit higher. Once again, I am in the free trial, so I'm hoping just to really expand horizontally and try as much of the game as I can before I end up paying. Specifically, since their trial is such a free, welcoming sort of time, right? Like, it's not time gated or anything, which is so nice. Now, this is a very cool class as well. I do love the sword. And I'm sorry if I keep saying classes versus roles versus jobs. You guys tell me in every video what I should say. And I believe it should be class. It should be class that turns into job, I think. I think that's what we agreed on. I did get some comments that said one way and some comments that said the other way, though. So I think it is a bit... It depends, I guess, if you're super into the lore of Final Fantasy and you've played other Final Fantasy games, or if you are more into MMOs and you play, like, this is just another MMO game. It depends on that, I think, how you'll say it, but this is a really cool class too. The warrior, big axe, like, this is your warrior class, and it definitely feels like a warrior. It feels slow. It feels like if you get hit by it, you're gonna like lose a lot of your health. I love big axes, not quite as much as I love big spears, so there is that, but I do love the big axes. I love, like, I don't know, can they only use axes, or can they use great swords or great hammers? Like, is that a part of this, or does each class just have the one weapon type that they use? I haven't gotten to a point where I've really experienced that. On my archer, I believe I just use a bow. I don't think I have like crossbows or anything like that. So I would assume maybe it's just the axe, but I'd be interested to know. Very cool skills either way. I love it. Red Mage, I believe this is a newer class as well. I've heard videos about this. I love the flower skills. Really, really nice. Really nice stuff. Lightning, I guess like the theme's flowers and lightning here from what I... the Dark Mage is ice and explosions, and the Red Mage is ice and... not ice, flowers and lightning. Oh, and you go in close with the sword too. I love it. I love classes that go in and out. Very, very sexy stuff. But Zoro, oh my god, like, there's so much going on with this class. I love it. I love the movement. I love the back in, back out. I think you can have a lot of fun even with like very mundane fights. Not that these are mundane fights all the time, but like even on a target dummy, it looks cool just going in and out, making the class feel alive, right? So this is the monk. I'm usually not a fan of classes just with like their fists pretty much. I tried a striker in Black Desert Online. That's a whole nother story for this channel one day. And I get tired of my fists always being what I'm using. It's hard not to look forward to a new like spear or a new axe or something like that. So especially since it does kind of feel warrior-ish, like fighter-ish, right? So I always feel like I need a weapon. But the skills are very impressive, so I think that would make up for it in this game. Like, there's a lot of variation. It's very pretty. The Paladin? I'm sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. I've been told that I'm the worst at pronouncing this word, or name rather, which is really unfortunate because it's in every single game I almost play, and I always get it wrong. It's, wow, I don't know. These skills are, it's hard because I'm trying to tell you guys stories, but I get distracted by how nice these skills look. I also feel like I'm talking a mile a minute because the video is kind of dictating the pace of my talking here. You can see my inexperience in doing voiceovers like this. But yes, very cool skills. I love that they call stuff from the sky. This is obviously a tank class as we have a shield. That was a sick skill. That like sword from the bottom. I love that. The ninja. This is a job that sort of caught me off guard on my first time through this. Very cool. Very cool stuff. I'm always a big fan of rogue/thieves. Specifically, on this channel, I've been doing a lot of MapleStory videos as well recently, just really the nostalgia part of it. But I love assassins where they throw stars. So the idea that this guy has sort of ranged skills and close range skills, and I just love this sort of blurred motion aspect here. And I love that it's the only job that I see with it, and it really makes it feel like a unique animation because of that. Super cool. Love it. All right, we're getting to the White Mage. I understand this to be, like, in my mind, is the most, like, priest-like, like, classic healer that you have. That being said, we did just shoot something at a target dummy, so I don't know. But I definitely thought it was more of a healing class, or role, or spec, or job, or whatever it's called. It's got such cool skills. Very white, very, like, it must be a healer. Very, look at these wings. I love the wings, too. Super nice blue white, like you feel like a very holy presence here. Something of another level. Like if you were in a fight with someone and you saw this come in to help you, you'd be happy. Scholar was another thing that caught me off guard. I don't know why I haven't seen videos of like these kind of jobs as much, where it is kind of a mix of like fantasy classes, right? The typical mage, the typical warrior, but you do have like these very unique jobs that like you don't get in other games. The scholar being one of them, where it's kind of a mix of obviously knowledge, but like sort of summoning as well, like some light summoning. We have a little fairy guy here, and we have some support with some DPS. I'm super interested to see how they play, and maybe I should do a real deep dive read of some of these classes before I get too far into my next character that I want to make, but some of these are just really drawing me to them. All right, we've got the Summoner next. This is a job that a lot of people have said I should check out, and I agree with them because I love summoning things. Like, look at that dragon thing, so cool. This time I understand what the little UI bar means too, because it got big as soon as he summoned the big guy, and it's counting down the time until the big guy goes away. So I definitely like the idea of the... And I'm sorry if my voice is very deep and raspy. This is the morning. I usually record after the day. So if you're hearing a different voice from me right now, this is the difference that the day makes apparently, because it's the weekend. So I can record in the morning. This guy goes fiery. I love it too. Phoenix, super cool. Love that you can change the different pets out. I'm sure once again, one of them is probably more DPS focused. The other one might be more support focused. I would wager that the fiery explosion guy is probably the damage one, but we'll see. This is a super cool job as well. Like, this goes back to the sort of thing that I was thinking, like these were all going to be kind of fantasy classes. This one's a lot more technology driven as well, which is very nice. And it really fills a hole. In WildStar, I used to play the engineer, which was sort of a robotics tank/DPS. This feels tremendously in that vein. And I feel like this could really fill that itch that I've had for that class. So I'm very excited to try this out. I would assume it's a DPS job. I don't know. I think someone was saying that they don't have specs in this game, whereas like the job is either a tank, a DPS, or a healer. It's not multiple. I don't know if I'm wrong about that. If I am, please tell me in the comments. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. And finally, we have the Dancer. This is, once again, one of the Shadowbringer new jobs, I believe. And it would make sense that they would sort of start the video of one and end the video of one. I have the least amount of information about this one as well. Not that I've had a staggering amount of information about any of them. But you can just see a lot of dancing. You can see it and impact targets, but also maybe be supportive. It does follow the monk sort of ideal where I'm like, I need the skills to be pretty flashy because the weapons are pretty small and not as impactful. And I definitely think it delivers on that side. So very cool, very cool. And just overall, the entire video, like I love that they go to the time to show everyone the new animations. Like that really shows A, that they take pride in the animations, and B, that it's a very important part of the game, specifically compared to some other. Oh, this isn't the last one. Look at me. I've even watched it once and I got it wrong. This is the Dark Knight, maybe not Dark Knight. Did I say the wrong? Let's pause it. This is the one thing we can do in this. This is the, okay, Dark Knight, I was correct. But that's the nice thing about like watching the video like this. Very cool stuff. This one has the great sword. And because of that, I do suspect that maybe the warrior can only use the great axe. Is that how it works? Or are these guys able to sort of trade out their weapon style? I don't know. Would be interested to know. Very cool, dark theme. Love it. I think I remember hearing that this was a tank, but I'm not sure. If it is, it reminds me obviously of the Death Knight tank that kind of uses a two-handed sword and death magic to tank as well. The summoned ally here looks spectacular. Like the shadowy figure, the skills that they're doing, it looks tremendous. Like it really does. I think this is like one of the visually most impactful jobs I've seen. But yeah, the whole thing was fantastic. I am very excited for Shadowbringers. I'm obviously a long ways from the end game or where this expansion would make much difference. But I have gone hardcore before. That being said, I am much more of a casual player where I like taking things in these days. I like really enjoying parts of the game, even if they aren't the most cutting edge, right? But this has gotten me very hyped up for a lot of different jobs, and I think that's what I needed, because now I don't know what job I want to make next. I'm really up in the air about it. Super cool stuff. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I realize that this is a different type of recording than I usually do, and hopefully it's not terrible because of that. If it is, I do apologize, or maybe I won't post it once I watch it. We'll see. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, I would love, or even if you're not new, if you would like to like this video, subscribe, comment, these are all very appreciated. I definitely try to reply to every comment I get. That's kind of something I'm able to do with being such a small channel. And I think it really makes us a much closer community, which is really nice. It fosters a lot of talking between everyone on the channel, and I do love it. So if you were able to do any of that, I would love it. I will see you in the next video regardless, and have a wonderful rest of your day.